Confederacy of dunks. Toronto Raptors. Scotty B. We the North, baby. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Confederacy of Dunks basketball podcast. I am your host, Freddie Rivas. We're here on Raptors Republic. It's my co-host and producer, Andy Hull, and a special guest for today. Very special, emotional day, it turns out. You'll know her from all over the basketball world. She's done this podcast before. One of my very favorite guests. Please make some noise, even if you're at home alone. You can check her out on the Pros and Claws Substack for Iman Aiden. What's up? How are you?
Oh no, I'm good, thank you. How are you guys?
Yeah, let's. Okay, let me show.
It's complicated.
It's complicated. Let me show off my shirt right away. If you're checking the YouTube, I mean, I guess it's going to be, you know what's going on, but this is my shirt.
There it is. 40 for those of you who can't see, it's a 43 Siakam.
Did I stand up enough?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Pascal Siakam Raptors shirt. It seems like it is finally happening. I had a bunch of other topics for today, which we will get to, but we got to jump to the big thing so far. So Shams' tweet dropped about 40 minutes ago. Looks like there's the beginnings of a trade, whatever that means, with the Indiana Pacers. 3 first-round picks, Bruce Bowen for our beloved Pascal Siakam. Iman, why don't you jump in first?
Honestly, 3 firsts just feels like it. I'm confused at what the Raptors are doing. I mean, obviously they needed to part ways with Pascal Siakam at this point. It just seemed like they didn't want to hand out a contract. To me, the questions I have don't date from like this trade deadline. It's if if the reports are true, and it seems like they were, that you didn't even meet with him at all this summer, and there was all this trade talk happening then and all this other stuff, and your plan was to get back young players. You wanted young players. You didn't want the picks. That's why you didn't trade OG for a reported 3 first-round picks last season. Then why didn't you move Pascal earlier to try and get more? To still get 3 picks is quite nice, but you wanted, Jarris Walker. You wanted Ben Mathurin. You wanted these guys, and you're not going to get them, and rightfully so, because you waited so long to trade Pascal Siakam. So to me, it's like, if this was a decision that you had already made, why did it need to wait until, a month out from the trade deadline before he becomes an expiring and is no longer on your team technically than happening earlier? But like, the trade finally happened and you're getting back 3 firsts. I have not even read the details. Once I got the message from you, I was like, oh, okay. Because I was not on my phone or anywhere near it. So yeah, it's like, it's not surprising that a deal is happening. It's not surprising that it's Indiana. It's just, to me, surprising that Masai Ujiri waited this long to get a deal done when his whole thing, his entire career is, I don't want to be on the lower hand when making deals. And he just pushed himself right there with one of the biggest players that he's ever had.
Yeah. You want to jump in, Andy?
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you think, how much of this do you think is just his plan going in is like you're saying, like he never wants to be on the lower hand or side of deals, but then watching Fred just go and hearing the obviously the reaction we all had to that and how that cannot happen again, it's like a week, 2 weeks ago, we were like, Masai's back, baby. He's back again, and now we're just like, actually, wait a sec, he's bungled this so badly. Is it just a reaction to like, okay, well, I got to do something? Is it like, do we think that's what this could be? Because also, I just wanted to add in quickly, it seems like Indiana fans are pretty upset about this, which is
a good deal,
right?
Yeah.
But like, they're like, this guy's going to be a free agent. Like, we could just, we don't have to give up. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And
They
this is
they could
this
just
is the
sign him.
problem we find. We find ourselves in Toronto is that everyone who wants Pascal can just wait.
Yeah.
So we're not getting anything, right? So yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, obviously I have so many thoughts. I love Pascal Siakam, so there's like just the emotional devastation. Um, for sure, there's also a bitter part of me that is like annoyed by any. Like I love Scotty Barnes, but like the Scotty Stands victory is frustrating to me. Not that they're the ones who traded Pascal, but I think as far as like the overall conversation around Pascal, it's been a level of disrespect I don't really remember. Sorry, I shouldn't say that because being a Raptors fan for a long time, you forget how disrespected Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan were. My God, the way people talked about DeMar DeRozan was just like it was surreal at times. But just sort of focusing in on this moment and the trade. Iman, you said something that I think to me is so key to Masai's DNA, which is he doesn't like to operate when he doesn't have leverage, right? You can look through so many of his trades or non-trades through that lens. I always joked about during the Kyle Lowry trade saga that the major players were Pat Riley, Daryl Morey, and Masai. And I was like, a deal is simply not getting done. These guys won't like talk to each other long enough on the phone. Um, and yeah, like why he keeps going back to the well was like the Knicks or whatever. And Andy, I think a point that you were bringing up that I really feel like is interesting here is like Indiana fans are mad. And, obviously we're talking about this trade before it's completed. Maybe it falls through. But I remember, the Rudy Gobert trade happens. And the logic was like Rudy Gobert for that many picks, this trade never happens again. It's like, well, where is this Siakam trade going to rank? Rudy was on a multi-year contract. This is an expiring player who's done in several months getting traded for 3 first-round picks. And yeah, I mean, I could just go in a million directions here, but the picks, what they are, that matters so much too. And 3 firsts is like, okay, what are the firsts? What are the protections? How good are the Pacers, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, I could just spin here. So let me throw it back to you, Amon, and let me ask you this: with all the noise around Siakam, for how loud it's been, for how long it's been, do you feel like there's a way to isolate this event, or is it just like is it only can we only contextualize it with the last 3 years of rumors?
Like this.
Like if you're analyzing this trade,
Okay.
is there a way to analyze it without the constant like 2 years of rumors?
I think it's going to be hard. Okay, you guys make like I think the point that you were making, Andy, about like losing Fred VanVleet for nothing is a huge part of this conversation. To me, once that happened, and I was sort of like holding out hope. I'm like, Masai's not gonna fail me. He's not gonna let that happen. As soon as that happened, I was like, okay, well, and I had been saying this all last year: is if they lose Fred for nothing, trade Pascal because this team needs a point guard, and it's so obvious how badly this team needed a point guard up until they got Emmanuel quickly, and so it's very obvious that like this team needed help. It needed to be fixed. And then of course Jakob Poeltl goes down. And now the Raptors are in a bit of, it's unfortunate that like they didn't have the injuries came when they came. But to me, it was like, okay, as soon as you lose your point guard, you're pivoting your timelines and you're going into I hate the idea of just Scotty's timeline because I don't think it's just Scotty's timeline or Pascal's timeline. I think it's are you planning on winning today, or are you planning on losing for the current time and winning down the line? Scotty's proven that he's a winning player today. So the idea that him and Pascal can't operate at the same time doesn't make sense to me. You look at a team like Miami, Jimmy and Bam. I think it was Pascal Propaganda who said yesterday they have a bigger age gap than Scotty and Pascal. The way that they're able to work is because they're both ready to win right now. And so
how about Durant and Booker?
Durant and Booker, or Kyle Lowry and Pascal Siakam, right? So to me, the idea of a timeline, it's like nobody drafts Tim Duncan and says, okay, Duncan Robinson, hit the hay, we've got our next guy. It's like, no, it's, are you guys ready to win right now? And that's something that Scotty proved, but they didn't have a point guard. So it just didn't make sense to continue with Pascal on this timeline. It was like, okay, free him. But I like Pascal Siakam. He's the last player of the championship team, which was not that long ago. Okay, sorry to Chris Boucher. He's the second last player of the championship team. That was not that long ago. And so, like, I hate to see him go, and I wanted to keep on to him for as long as possible, but it's at this point, it's like just free him. This team is not going anywhere. And so, like, I think it's difficult. I'm taking the long route to answer your question, but I think it's difficult to talk about this trade without putting into context the last 2 years, not just what it meant for Pascal Siakam, but the way that they bungled the entire Fred VanVleet situation. So to me, it's like, if that doesn't happen, then you're not in this race to try and find something for Pascal. And, you know, if you maybe had a point guard to start the season as opposed to waiting so long to get one, maybe you're in a different situation right now as well. So to me, it's like a string of things that happened that makes you, that forces people, or me at least, to look at this Pascal trade in context with all of those items. But I think if we're just to isolate this trade, you say, okay, Masai needs leverage when he handles a trade. He's got Indiana that's got a ton of cap room, but also Philly's waiting. Philly's got Nick Nurse. You know, if Pascal and Nick Nurse got a good relationship, he's got his Cameroonian guy in Joel Embiid there as well, and they have max cap space. So Philly is looming, and if Indiana wants his bird rights, if Indiana wants to be the team with additional leverage to try and get him, that's what they have to do, is trade for him, and they have to pay a pretty penny, because Philadelphia is not going to be doing that. As you guys said, don't worry, not doing that, right? So Masai used some leverage there to say, hey, there are some other teams with cap space. If you want to have an edge up on them by having him on your roster, here's the price, here's what you got to pay. And to Indiana's credit, they said, Andrew Nembhard is not Andrew Nembhard. I meant Ben Matherin, my other Canadian. Ben Matherin, Darius Walker, these are guys that are not going to be a part of that trade. And despite the Raptors wanting them, they lose out on that. But they get 3 first-round picks, and I have no idea what the protections are. So I'm like really trying to temper the way that I talk about this. It's not like a home run, because you know, Pascal leaves and they're unprotected picks. Well, then hello. But we just don't know that. I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah, and just so you both know, I am certainly refreshing Shams and Waj as this is happening, just because if there is a final, I mean, some more Indiana salary has to come. So I don't know who that is, but
like a TJ McConnell, like who's a bigger, I don't know.
Yeah, you know, could be like, well, what's looking at TJ's making $8 million. Yeah, could definitely be TJ. You know, could be Obi Toppin. You know,
more
there's
Knicks on this team. We're just building the Toronto.
Some more Knicks on this team. Woo! But yeah, so many good points there, and I think, yeah, it is. I feel like I'm the same as you. It's impossible to like separate these two things. And I also agree that the timeline thing is like one of the most exaggerated, oversimplistic kind of narratives that float around a lot. Yeah. Just, I mean, look at any championship team, right? The ages are all over the place. If anything, they're all older. But that's generally like, you know, like winning teams. I mean, to me, one of the most like timeline specific teams is the Thunder team that made it to the finals and then eventually, you know, slowly broke off into pieces. Albeit really good MVP caliber pieces, but they were all the same age, right? And that's sort of like the idea. But, you know, salaries.
I mean, that's why they broke into pieces, right? Because you got to make a choice. Are you paying Harden or are you paying Ibaka? They made the wrong choice, but they made a choice.
Yeah, and that's like the you know, that's part of the design of the NBA, right? Is you can't pay all these people all at the same time. Like that's kind of, that prevents you from having, okay, great, we have like 5 23-year-olds and they're all amazing. It's like, well, someone's going to steal one of those 23-year-olds. And I just wanted to jump on the Andy, I feel like you got something, but
I got something.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that the competition, like, why is Indiana doing this? Because if you think you can win, you do have to realize that other teams are wanting the same thing that you want. Dallas as well, right? Like, other teams are desperate to win, and I'm sure Indiana fans will be mad at the amount of picks, but like, talk to the Knicks. They're not missing Quickly or RJ. OG's that good, and when they see Halliburton and Pascal play together, they're gonna forget about those picks so fast.
Yeah, 100%.
But sorry, Andy.
No, it's okay. You're absolutely right. You got to strike while the iron's hot, and there's a lot of teams with a lot of hot irons right now, baby. Let me tell you.
Oh, nice, cool. Yeah, this is turned into like.
That's not what I wanted to jump in with, but no, but it's true. What I was gonna say is, I forgot. I forgot what I was gonna say because I had that quick, sick wrestling thing to say instead.
That's on me.
Oh man, I really did forget it. It's gone. Anyways, keep you guys say something else and I'll remember it.
I'm gonna start to talk and you're gonna be like, got it.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. But just let's. I don't even know if I'm ready for let's talk about Pascal like in a past tense. Like, so like I don't even know if I can handle that emotionally, or if it will just be a preposterous thing to say if I wake up tomorrow morning and it's like more rumors about Pascal Siakam. The deal's not done.
Yeah, very possible that we could be waking up to that. It could be, that could be something we say here. But it's fun to be the guys with the scoop. That's us right now, sort of, a little bit.
Yeah, we're mid scoop. We're mid scoop.
We're mid scoop.
I mean, let's talk about this team, just sort of like mess around with the idea of this team.
Oh, I remembered.
Okay, I knew it.
Okay, the whole like win now thing. So just to be the other side of that thing, right? Scotty could be a win now guy. Pascal on the same team. Those are excellent points you guys were making. Absolutely. But I guess if you were to take the other side of it, how much winning can a team do with Pascal Siakam as your number one-ish guy and Scotty Barnes as your number one-ish guy? You know what I mean? Like don't you think that there is someone else missing from that equation, like an actual number one guy until Scotty gets there? You know what I mean? Which I feel like is what I hear a lot about when people are talking about the makeup of this team. We all know Scotty's on his way, and Pascal is kind of where he is, which is to say he's an excellent player. That's definitely a number two on with like another like huge superstar possibly, depending on where he goes or where he is. But it feels like the Raptors aren't at that stage. So then don't you think that we should, with the contract being where it is and everything, don't you think that it's time to strike while the iron's hot on our side of things, which is to get the most we can for him, which the whole discussion of this is that we are absolutely not getting the most we can for him because he's worth a lot more than this. But like, just to take from the other side of things, like that's like, I guess like the Masai perspective on it, and whether or not he bungled is another question. But like, I can see the fact that we have that, like, it's better for the Raptors to move him currently where we are with the makeup of this team right now, because I'd say looking at the roster right now, looking at what's happening with the current team on the court, we're pretty far from a championship team here, you know? Wouldn't you agree?
No, 10 games under 500, they're right there. Right in the mix. I see that a lot. I get your point. I see that a lot. And I understand the difference with the DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry years was that the team was winning and the team was actually good, right? And so people weren't so caught up on this idea of having number one. Also, Raptor fans had never had Kawhi Leonard. We've never known what a player that good on the team could do and what winning a championship can be like. Only one team wins a championship. To win a championship, you have to be a top 5 player in the league. But building towards that is something that I thoroughly personally enjoyed the We the North Raptors. I loved 2013, 2014 through to the championship years. And there wasn't a number one until Kawhi Leonard came. And so, it wasn't like, oh, let's trade DeMar for anything until you get that number one, or let's like trade DeMar for 3 first-round picks so that one of them
people did want to do that.
People want to do a lot of different things, but like at least you were winning 50 some odd games, going to the playoffs, made a conference finals run, did things like that, which was way more enjoyable to me than any of the years prior to that as a Raptor fan, where you were just like, oh, number one pick, what is Andre Bargnani going to be? Next Dirk? No. Okay, let's try again. Number 4 pick. What is, like, just to continuously do that wasn't as fun to me. But like, not judging anyone who finds that enjoyable, I just found the winning of games really fun. And to me, Masai Ujiri's always kind of operated with that, right? Like, he did that with the Toronto Raptors. There was no number one until you can go and get Kawhi Leonard. But his idea was, let's build the best team we can build, and then let's bring in guys, right? Traded away Rudy Gay, who at the time technically was your number one, not a number one player at all, but he traded him not for picks or anything like that. I don't think the Raptors got a single pick in that Rudy Gay trade, despite blowing it up and everybody thinking they were going into the tank. Not a single pick came back in that Rudy Gay trade. Instead, it was Gravis Vasquez and Chuck Hayes and Patrick Patterson and a bunch of bench players so that the Raptors could field a more competitive team.
I love that you didn't name John Salmons.
No, I don't talk about him. I'm joking, I forgot, but like, that's the stance I'm taking. And same thing with like when Masai Ujiri was at the head of the Denver Nuggets. When he traded away Carmelo Anthony, he didn't trade him for a bunch of picks. They didn't get a single. Well, they got Jamal Murray, but they got a few picks in that deal. But they got Danilo Gallinari and Wilson Chandler and a bunch of players who can win. And that team was better than the New York Knicks were with Carmelo Anthony that year. And so to me, it was like, besides and building that team, how I understood that was, the Denver Nuggets had no superstar, but I think they won 57 games that year with no superstars on the roster, similar to how the Raptors were winning 57, 59, 56, and however many games year in and year out without a single superstar on the roster, because the idea was, let's build and field the most competitive team, and then let's bring in that guy. Because yeah, you need a number one, but guess what championship teams also need? A number two. Like, as much as you need your number one, you need your number two. And those guys are also as difficult to get as the number one guy, right? Sometimes your number two can be flipped for number one, as we saw with DeMar DeRozan getting traded. But like, to me, it's just like, field the most competitive team. And I think the issue with this Raptors iteration is that they just weren't competitive. And so there was, it's like, well, why keep this team together? In my opinion, I still think extending Pascal and trading him down the line, because it didn't seem like they had any interest in keeping him. It was just like, can you get more from him? And granted, I don't know what the protections on these picks are. So, hey, I could be talking, out my, could be completely unprotected. I highly doubt that. They could be other teams' picks and not just Indiana's. I don't know. But whatever it is, I just think that, like, how Masai's handling this doesn't make quite so much sense to me. It's not that he's trading him. That makes sense to me. Trade him. It's just, how are you handling this, and why did you not have the foresight 6 months ago to make this move?
Yeah, it's so many good points. And I think this is at the heart of where we are, or where we find ourselves as Raptors fans, right? It's like, we've seen the successful Masai build, and it defied a lot of what, let me say, like, the pro deep tank teams, I've done in the past. And I would say that one thing I've always sort of felt about Masai is, like, he's part of this club of, I don't know, stubborn ownership groups, or not ownership groups, but like GMs, like the Utah Jazzes of the world, the Indiana Pacers, the Miami Heat, the teams that don't full on gut their culture, and like you said, have a sustained winner and build out through that. I kind of wonder if that was still the plan, and there was just too many L's. Like, there was the Fred thing, and coming down from a championship, like that sort of trickle off was really hard. And it's just kind of like, there was too many things that went wrong. Like, there's a world in which like Masai stays in Denver, and like what happens? What's so interesting? You brought that up, and I got a shout out. Who just a random person, since I did this before, who I think was in that trade, Ronaldo Bachman. Maybe not, but I hope that this isn't Ronaldo Bachman erasure. But Iguodala, right, was a big part of that team, and he just left for Golden State. A 57 win team, he just pieces out, and is like the almost that final piece for the Warriors team. But obviously, Masai is not there to kind of like deal with the consequences because he goes to Toronto. And it's different here though, because Kawhi leaves, and he's left being like, "What? I built a championship team, and this like guy just leaves. This is crazy." Like, and yeah, it's a really unique scenario. And to your point of like not being able to understand, I guess, the behavior of our GM. It makes me look at things like the Grady Dick pick and wonder like I realize
it's never not a funny thing term.
Yeah,
it's just
fair enough.
Unfortunate
it's
proper
unfortunate
terminology there. Yeah,
evergreen. Yeah. But I mean, Masai's whole draft legacy has been going after these guys who are just like wildly athletic and long and not really like a guy who hits a bunch of threes in college. And then he drafts Grady Dick, gets a lot of praise for it. I thought, I mean, and I'm not even in the territory where I'm like writing off this rookie. And, players have all sorts of trajectories, but the reality is he's a 13th overall pick who sort of can't play any form of competitive minutes in the NBA, which does not look good. And he's also not dominating the G League, which also doesn't look good. So that's just where that's at. I'm not saying that like it's a done deal or whatever. But yeah, it's a really sort of unrecognizable time. And this is really sort of jumping in a wild direction. But I can't help but thinking, what's next for Masai? A, like his career with the Raptors, and B, when does the clock start ticking on Scotty? And does the Raptor fan radar now zoom in on Scotty and be like, we're going to critique the shit out of you? The media, you have to speak after every single game, win or lose. So let's see how charming you are. Let's see how this holds up. And by the way, I'm not like I'm rooting for truly the best possible scenario. I think Scotty is special. I'm on the record saying that for a long time. But I also think Scotty's unique. And building around him is not as simple as Scotty plus shooters. It's a really, yeah. So a million thoughts there, but I think I do want to move on to some other stuff, but not quite. And we'll obviously go back if there's a finalized trade, but either of you, whoever feels like they got something still, throw it out there.
I mean, we've covered it. I mean, if this is in fact the end of the road for the Raptors and Pascal Siakam, we're definitely bummed out to see him leave.
Yeah,
but like we've been here before. It feels like as
Raptors
fans, you know what I mean, and we will be here again.
Worse places still.
Yes, exactly. So while it's sad, it's nothing new, and I think a lot of us, judging by the very early early reactions currently in group chats that since you sent that out, I'm seeing people texting each other about it. Everyone's kind of like, well, we got something, so okay, I guess we'll take it.
Yeah, if you're sort of like the type of fan that lists off players that the Raptors quote unquote got nothing for, you got to make sure that Pascal and OG are strong rebuttals to that logic.
I guess we should just be happy that the team didn't work hard to disgrace him as he was leaving to make it seem like it was
that is what is unforgivable to me. Like that to me will always be. I don't know.
What's funny? Like we've heard that now about Vince, and then now it's come back around again where it's like actually he was shitty. It's like
Vince
I don't know who to believe.
Vince did like a bunch of shit.
Vince did quit.
Yes, he called out the other team's plays. The Raptors plays, and he did a lot of stuff.
Anyway,
but,
we don't need to get into Vince Carter, but still, we've been here
Pascal,
before. This
though,
is better than that. This is better than that.
It's just like such a model citizen. Like,
love Pascal. It's the best.
Yeah.
The best.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed in how the Raptors are treating him on his way out. That's the only thing. Like, send him out. He's got to go. Obviously, it's not Vince bad. I don't know that we'll ever see anything as bad as Vince bad. But because to me, it's how did you not even meet with your player? How are you just like completely ignoring him and all of these like things that have come out? I'm like, can you treat your star player better even if you have to send him out? Even if he's out the door, can it just be done in a way that's like, this is a 27th overall pick, a G League guy who comes in and helps you win a championship, which is not a lot of things that is there another NBA player that has that story? Like, that's a special player, and it's okay to celebrate that. And I don't think that the Raptors were doing that on his way out. It seems odd. And I feel like my big conspiracy is that there's something there that we just don't know, because it's weird how the Raptors have been treating Pascal Siakam, I think, the last few years. Scotty aside, because I mentioned that, and then a bunch of Scotty fans are like, Scotty had nothing to do with him. These are two different individuals.
And I think they really liked each other.
I think they're fine too. I think it's just, fans online who decide to create something like it. Here's the thing. Basketball Twitter, what I've learned, is very similar to like Stan Twitter. And so if you ever seen like, if you click on a tweet and you see like someone with a Taylor Swift Abby making fun of someone with an Ariana Grande Abby, and you're like, I don't know what's happening, but these two girls behind this account don't seem to like each other. That's the same thing with people who have different player Abbies on Twitter. It's just the same thing, just with sports instead of music.
Yeah, well said.
Also, honestly, don't confuse Stans with Stan Van Gundy fans who are also just called Stans. That's different.
Yeah,
That's different.
They're pretty cool. They're
pretty chill. They're surprisingly chilled out.
They're chill. They just want to talk. They just want to like make fun of Jeff.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all. That's all
it's a real Steffi jam.
Raptor fans cheering for pizza. Do you remember when Stan Van Gundy was like, they lost the game? And it was like, yeah, but they got pizza. It was 100 points.
How does Stan not understand that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, come on. Stan
it's pizza, dude. Come on.
Yeah, pizza's great. What are you talking about?
It's a free slice and pizza.
Yeah.
Well, my original question was sort of talking about like what does the Raptors season turnaround look like? But I mean, this is what it looks like. So let's not even. I'm gonna sort of skip that question. I think because the Pascal stuff is so huge. Although I'm gonna laugh hard when and if this does not happen.
Yeah.
I don't think, though, this next subject I can let go of because it was incredible. So you have the Darko rant, which is just marvelous, right? He's losing he's losing his cool. He went viral. It's a big moment in Darko's career, right? He comes in as like, I'm nice and I'm everybody's dad and things aren't going well, and it's like, oh, everyone's dad's gonna snap.
Yeah.
Like, exactly. I don't know how, I don't know when, but everyone's happy dad is going to lose it, and we saw it, and it was great, and I enjoyed the slow build there. It was a slow cook, but not to Mike Brown. Mike Brown comes up, he's like, listen, I see your slow cook, and I raise you an exploding grill. Because the actual laptop, like that is I am going out there.
Yeah, I'm gonna show them tape.
I'm gonna show them tape. This will be theatrical in nature. You know what I mean? Like everything about that is like, I'm gonna get. I don't know what the fine is, but he's like, I'm going down big.
I'm going down real big. Yeah,
that is because like sometimes people lose it. That's calculated. So anyhow. I have to imagine that Darko is like, listen, that's going to make me snap even more. So, what is Darko's play here? I want to hear it. Andy, maybe I'll start with you. How does imagine a world in which Darko comes in and one-ups Mike Brown? What does that look like?
Oh, what does it look like? I think he like takes you to the practice facility and like actually walks people through
some drills.
Like it's. Have you ever seen when that improv game where like they like a person comes up on stage like an audience member and you like position their arms and legs and the improvisers have to like make sense of it. It's not like whose line is it anyways. Darko's doing that with all the players, and then he take his heads and he put it up here, and then and it's like he's just explaining it through the movements of real people in front of the media. I have a quick question though before you guys answer yours. How bad is the referee situation in the NBA? I've seen it be like discussed a lot, but I haven't actually heard a lot of like Toronto Raptor takes on it because I saw a lot of American media was talking about it.
Are the Raptors winning or losing? That answers my question.
Yeah, right. Is that it? Is it simply that? Is that what we're looking at? Because like I watched that game and I at the time was like, this is bullshit. I was Donnie Darko in it too, man. I was losing my mind, and then I heard I watched a couple other people's reactions to it. And they were like, I don't know, a lot of those were intentional fouls on AD because the Raptors didn't have a big man that game. And it's like, I was like, oh yeah, like 16 of those fouls were intentional. It's like that takes away a pretty big chunk of the 24. As they went through it, I think there was like 2 or 3 really bad calls right at the end of that game. The flagrant I thought was like, come on, that's insane. There was an offensive foul. I think that got called on RJ.
And AD flop, it was bad.
Yeah, so like there were some bad calls here, but like how bad is it around the league? And feel free to answer Freddie's questions first, by the way. His fun question first, and then my actual.
No. Whichever one you prefer first.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay, I like them both. Both excellent questions. I was just gonna say, like, to answer really quickly, just because we're on the topic, not because I prefer it, but because we're on the topic. I think refereeing in the NBA has been like there's every year people are gonna complain that it's like worse and worse. I don't know that I believe that Lakers game. There were some issues. There's certainly intentional fouls, especially in the last like 2 or 3 minutes. You had to because the Raptors needed to catch up. But from the moment that they missed the who was it? Was it Jared Vanderbilt hanging off the rim? And they were like, yeah, even though he's grabbing and shaking the rim as your player is going up to shoot a shot, that is not a goaltend, actually. That was nonsensical. I actually thought that, like, from that moment, I was like, oh, this is going to be an interestingly rough game. And then once the fourth quarter started, from about the 8-minute to, like, the 2 or 3 minute mark was, like, I could probably list off 5 fouls where I'm like, and to me, it wasn't so much the fouls that were called on the Raptors. It was, okay, if that's the game that you're going to call, to me, the biggest issue with NBA refereeing is what's a foul one play might not be a foul the next play. And so it's like, okay, set a standard in the game. Are you going to let them play hard or are you not? And in that game, it was, you can play hard if you're a Laker player, but you can't play hard if you're a Raptor. And to me, that's where it was frustrating, where I saw a lot of people go through the game and they were looking at every single foul and they were like, that's foul. And it's like, yeah, sure. But if that's a foul, let's look at the non-calls the other way and tell me how that's allowed, but that isn't. And like, that's to me is where everyone sort of lost the context, because it wasn't so much that the Lakers shot 23 free throws. It was that the Raptors shot 2, despite continuously attacking the basket. The Raptors had more points in the paint, more shots in the paint, were inside more, and the Lakers were taking a ton of like shots, threes. And it was like, still they're getting more foul calls. So to me, it was like, okay, if you're going to call ticky-tack fouls, if it's going to be that kind of a game, then make sure you're doing it the other way, and they didn't do it. So the issue was more so the Raptors only taking 2, and all of the non-calls that went the Raptors' way that just didn't go what the Lakers' way and didn't go the Raptors' way. So that was my issue with that game in particular. And that's my issue with a lot of like officiating is there's no set. Plug a Dishes and Dimes episode. We talked to Tim Donaghy. Gasp.
Wow.
And,
huge get.
And so we did ask him a lot of like, how does like, because at one point, yes, we talked about the crime and all of that, and we're going to do follow-up episodes.
The crime, we talked about the crime, of course.
That's the best throwaway on this podcast history.
But like, when you don't ever get a referee, because something that the NBA does very smartly is they put their referees on their payroll. So referees have a lot of jobs once they retire in league office and things like that, so that you don't have them as a guest on a podcast and they don't tell you some of the NBA's dirty, dark secrets. They keep these guys. That's why Steve Jobs, you see him when you turn on, an ESPN game and things like that. They keep these guys on their payroll.
He's rocking the bow tie. What's going on there,
They keep these guys on their payroll for a long time so that you're not getting those talks. And so this is like the one time that you're going to get a referee. And I did ask him a lot of those questions, and he's like, yeah, like those are things that we did, and we knew that we were doing it, but we wanted to maybe have someone. Well, he's gonna have his thing, but you guys can listen to it. It's on Dishes and Dimes, and so that's the answer to that question. Not because I want to plug Dishes and Dimes. I just landed there. I promise. But
the plug is welcome.
Plug away. Yeah.
You answering Andy's question first. Honestly, heartbroken.
Sorry, no, it's literally just because we were right there. But to answer your question, I actually have two answers, if that makes it better, because I could not decide. Number one, I thought, can Darko have like an anti-game chain? I often create that as I'm tweeting when someone is bothering me in the game. When someone's bothering me in the game,
puts it around the ref's neck,
you get your anti-game chain. But like, I think he just hands them to the refs at the end of the game, or like at a post-game presser, just like have like, hey, Ben Taylor, you done your job. So that's number one. And number two is he just gets a whistle, or even if he wants to go all out, depends on how extra Darko Rakovic is. He can just have a whistle, or he can just dress up like a referee post-game. And as he's being asked questions, just start to blow his whistle and tee up the reporters who are asking him questions, right? Become a referee. So you just start to like tee them up and start to throw people out who ask you questions. And I think that really sends your point. Because, when you see that, like, Doug Smith is not asking anything offensive, but you've thrown him out of here, you're proving your point on how you think that game was refereed. So those are my answers, yeah.
That is amazing. Just like all the people we know and love, like Raptors media personalities, just getting the wrath of a Darko whistle.
Yeah,
like
get out of here.
just the nicest people with Darko. Like Darko snapping on them is a funny part of this. So I have two answers because I had one and I realized it's not that good. I got a way better one. The okay one is sort of similar to Andy's, but way less clear. Mine was he uses a hologram, like he almost does like if you think about Kenny Smith doing the big board, he does a version of that with the hologram and like walks through the play and like talks about how bad it is.
Splitzer.
Yeah, he's like, sort of like exactly. That's even better. But through this conversation, I have a much better idea than what I originally had, which is basically he brings in Donaghy.
Hey,
listen,
I got his number, Darko, if you want.
Right? Could you imagine if he just brings a second chair and like intros Donaghy? He doesn't have to say his name. He can basically just say like, you know who this is. And he'll be taking all my questions. like first of all, I think the media would have some questions for Donaghy. They would certainly say, okay, Darko has brought famous cheater Tim Donaghy to a Raptors game. That's already weird. If you want to talk about fines, you bring Donaghy in, that's a big fine.
He didn't like Canada, so hey.
What's that?
He said he didn't like Canada, so if you're able to get him in, it's a huge get.
Yeah, wow, dude, Donaghy,
famous cheater Tim Donaghy.
He to defend him a little. To defend him, he needs my defense. I just asked him, because I had to for Raptor fans, do refs have an anti-Canada bias? And he was like, we don't like it. It's like going to Detroit or Milwaukee, and I was like, excuse you, Toronto is not like going to Detroit or Milwaukee. So I'm calling him a Toronto hater, but listen to the pod so you can hear all of it.
I absolutely have to listen to this episode. And I think one of the biggest reasons is the first thing you said, which was, let's not talk about the crime for now. And I need to know more about, I know what it is, but I need to know about the actual crime on your podcast. Also,
We went into that.
just side note, that what you just said there is proof of what anytime like I run into someone who's sort of like a Raptor. I hate the term casual, but like not a hardcore Raptors fan, like not on Raptors Twitter, that sort of thing, and they'll ask, like, do you think that like the NBA hates the Raptors? And I will always say, not like they don't hate us in particular, but they don't care about us. And the NBA is packed with small markets. And they, Toronto's a big place. It's an influential place in the world. It's like it's a powerful, awesome, big city. But in the landscape of the NBA, we are Memphis. We are the Bucks. We are Minnesota. Yeah. We are Detroit. We are just another place that's not one of the glamour cities. That is how we are treated. Okay, let's jump to some NBA stuff here. Where's the question I had loaded? Okay, here we go. Iman, I'm going to start with you, and this is just sort of a general. Who do you think the best team below 500 is, and who do you think the worst team above 500 is?
What's really interesting is I was debating between Indiana or Sacramento for my worst team above 500. And
juicy.
And honestly, like I think that like the idea that both of these teams would probably trade for Pascal Siakam, and it would fix a lot of the reasons why they're in this category for me. For Indiana, it was just their defense is just putrid. But I ended up going with Sacramento. And I went with Sacramento because they're a potent offense, but they're a worse free throw shooting team than the Toronto Raptors, which I did not think could be possible. They are dead last. They are the 30th ranked free throw shooting team. They're also the worst team in back-to-backs. They finally just won a back-to-back game, but they were just getting demolished in back-to-backs. And to me, if you're a good team, if you're supposed to be in that upper echelon in that Western Conference, because the Western Conference is stacked and really good, and granted, yes, in the playoffs there's not going to be back-to-backs, but I think it just shows a level of like readiness and preparedness, and like not getting tiredness. Like I don't know what it is, but like if you are at one point, I think they were 0-5 and they were losing by a substantial percentage in those games. Like their net rating was absolutely horrendous in back-to-backs for a while, after they just honestly demolished a team on a second night of a back-to-back. So they've helped fix that in the month of January. But I don't know. To me, they're just not as serious. Their defense is not good. Their free throw percentage is not good. They're like net rating, not good either. They're just a team that is kind of meh and okay. In fact, the next question, the team that I have is a bottom 500 team that's has a better net rating than them, despite having a much worse record, or a few games worse record. So despite the fact that the Sacramento Kings have won a lot of games, they seem to win a lot of close games. They don't seem to like really put teams away in that way. And they're a really bad free throw shooting team, which like, what's that about? I don't trust teams that don't shoot free throws well, because then you end up like the Toronto Raptors missing 18 free throws or whatever it was in that Chicago Bulls game in the play-in last year. So yeah, they're my team.
They're mine too, for all the same reasons. And I've actually talked about this, I think it was last week, where we were mentioning that Sacramento has a negative point differential, but they're what, like 7 games over 500, which is insane.
Say that,
yeah. So like I was talking about that last week, and like here we are. Yeah, they're I think the actual correct answer. I know this is like a subjective question, but if there were to be an objective answer to this, it's the Kings, no question about it.
I think it's the Kings, but my team, and I almost feel like a little bit slanderous with this team, because I talking about small markets, I have no issue with them. I kind of hope for them to be good, and they've had a really tortured history. But mine's the Orlando Magic. So I think they were a little bit of like I feel like I've been trashing them this whole year, but I just sort of didn't believe the Magic as like a top 4 team. Yeah. And they are the 29th worst 3-point shooting team in the NBA. The only team that shoots worse than them is the Detroit Pistons. Wow. Is the Memphis Grizzlies, pardon me. So
Another strong contender in this question.
Yeah, well, I mean, sorry, this is the team that's. Oh, right, I see what you're saying.
The Grizzlies,
yeah, but I like the Magic. I think they got a lot of good players. I think they are a fun story, but I think they've been losing, and I think they're going to continue to lose. And if they are a play-in team, they're playing team right now, but if they sort of get to that bottom area of the play-in team, I will not be surprised at all. Who's our good team?
So that's where I was talking
below
about
500. Is it Memphis?
I think we have another like kind of objective correct answer here, and it's probably the Houston Rockets. They're only a game under 500 at this stage.
Never mind. Sorry, guys, I cheated. Wow, it's gotta be Houston. Yeah.
It's gotta be Houston, right? Like
I feel
that's the objective answer. But I think the Lakers. Yeah,
I was debating between those two. I
don't think they're that good. I just think
LeBron
AD. Pretty much. Yeah.
I mean, the Warriors are right there too, right? We're seeing Draymond's out, so things are messed up for them as always. What's happening with Clay, all that kind of stuff. But the Grizzlies were one that kind of jumped out at me a little bit. I mean, mostly just because of like Ja coming back and getting injured right away, and like
now Desmond Bain.
They're kind of this team that's like always like, man, they should be better, or they look exciting, and then they just
talk about a snake bitten team this year,
right? Wow. So they're kind of there for I think the contention of. I mean, I wouldn't say they're the best, but they're one of those teams where it's like, aw.
Yeah.
And I guess the snake kind of bit itself a bit as well.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. No question about it.
If there was going to be a year for their entire team to be injured, it was going to be this year, right? Like, why not the year that Ja's gone? And also,
take the year off, guys.
I kind of feel like, hey, and like knock on wood that things are going to be better for them, but like, I'd rather everybody get injured in the same year than like, this year is this guy, next year it's another guy. Like, no, just all do it at the same time, and then come back next year. So hopefully there's some positives for them. But
also,
exactly.
Hey, just because this is a Canadian podcast, if you're listening, Mr. Donaghy, shout out Dylan Brooks. Okay. Talking about someone who's disrespected by their franchise, who's like, all right, like I was a second team all defensive player, but I guess I completely suck, and I'm the singular reason why we lost. Yeah. I'm not saying that he was, easy to deal with, but I think that he, is a winning player. But okay, let's move on to the last question. But we're gonna kind of finish this off with a quiz.
Ooh.
So last NBA question, and this is sort of just a fun joke of a question too, but Wade got a statue outside of Miami, outside of the I don't know what the Heat arena is called.
Amway? No, was that
Amway? Is it Amway?
No, I think that's Orlando. I can't remember.
Yeah, yeah. So he got a
Castella
recently.
The Castella Center.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's what it's called, sir. Sorry, everyone. That's what it's called.
I'm happy that the real answer was somehow more confusing than all of our.
Yeah. Like, did you guys just think I was saying like a word I made up? Like, like how many of you thought that?
I was really just like,
oh, interesting.
Yeah. Andy's just riffing.
Yeah.
No issue with that.
Tried some new sounds. I'll put them all together, making new words.
Mimu my may.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Anyways, I'll start with you, Andy. Who is your candidate for a statue outside of their arena? And is that arena Casio?
It's the Casella Center.
I'm gonna read it because why am I just like, I have like Nick Sauce Castillo in my head, and I know it's the Sauce Castillo arena.
Do we know who the current statues are?
You know what? That's a big missing.
That's a big missing part of this. But there's no certainly there's no active players with statues, right? There's no LeBron statue anywhere. So he's the only one who would have one, right? So so there's not a lot of statues. There's all-time statues. There's Magic. There's Jordan. I'm sure there's other guys like that, right?
Shaq. Sorry,
Shaq has a statue.
I've been to Staples. Yes, Shaq does have a statue.
It's funny because
awesome.
I'm all thinking of all the Staples ones too, right? Like there's Gretzky has one of there. Anyways, okay. But the next statue that we're all gonna see, this is a big prediction from me,
please,
because the new and improved New York Knicks are on their way to a championship. And if that happens, OG Anunoby is getting a statue, baby.
Oh my god! I would love an OG statue.
Wouldn't it be the craziest thing?
And he'd be so calm. It would be the most calm statue ever.
Didn't know what pad thai was. You just put that there.
Wait, is that a thing?
Yes.
That was a story that came out, right?
There's a little thing. Just a thing. Some person on Twitter was like, "Yeah, I saw him at a restaurant, and he was with his partner, I guess, or someone, or I don't know." And then, anyways, his food came, and he was like, "What's this?" And she's like,
"It's really
it's what you ordered."
It's what you ordered.
It was just pad thai, like wasn't anything crazy.
Dude, it's really good. So
just used to his Rabifine food dates. Rabifine food does not have pad thai.
That's right.
Iman, who's your statue? I don't think you can top OG, but
mine's a little mean, but you know what? It's okay. Actually, no, it's really nice. No, it's not. So the Washington Wizards. I was thinking about teams that don't have much to celebrate.
Okay.
And the Washington Wizards, who I don't think what's the stat that they haven't had a 50-win season in like 50 years, or over 50 years now.
Wow, is that true?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's been
it's dismal.
It's been a rough time for them. And so I was thinking, why not honor some of their greats? Their greats are hard to come by. Gilbert Arenas and John Wall were two greats that came to mind. And so I thought of like a statue with like a briefcase open and maybe money falling out of it.
Oh, wow. Like a business deal gone wrong statue?
It's the $111 million they gave to Gilbert and Arenas that they could have, set a match to, which would have given them just as much in return. No, I was thinking of like maybe you can put the statue in front of or you don't have to have the statue with the money. You can just put it in front of like their accountant's office because of the money
Capitol
that they
Hill,
gave John Wall. Yeah, or like you can have it in front of their medical offices just to remind them of what they've done to John Wall and Gilbert Arenas' career. Two guys who, some of the most exciting guys this NBA has ever seen, that careers were cut short because of some knee injuries. I thought, why not remind the medical staff of the Washington Wizards, who now have new ownership, new management, and are moving past that. It's just a good reminder. In the same way that Americans like to have statues of like Confederates
of bad people. Yeah.
I was trying to think of a way to be like,
you like historical
guys.
Monsters?
Yeah, they're like, we have these up to just remember to never be like that. You can have a statue of, John Wall and Gilbert Arenas just to remind your medical staff and your accounting department to just never go back. Always.
I love it. Yeah, sorry, go.
Maybe you're gonna say the same thing. I love the casual forgetting of Michael Jordan playing for the Wizards. Just like he doesn't get a statue. Yeah. Mike doesn't get one. However, if you were gonna give Mike a statue for the Wizards, he has to have the Charlie Chaplin mustache, because he did have that briefly.
While
playing for the Wizards.
Like, speaking of Tessaway Arena, or whatever Miami calls it.
Yeah.
I just read that. It's not spelled like what you think it is. We are butchering. We are whatever product that is.
What is that? Yeah, like it's probably some
cease and desist.
It's like a wish.com, I bet, or something like that. You know what I mean? It's like a weird website.
Yeah, they're
Kaseya. Yeah, speaking of
it's randomizer.com.
Yeah, that's where they got it from.
The randomizing community would love that.
Your first name and the street you were born. Your pet's name and the street you were born. They have Michael Jordan's jersey retired there, which is so odd. So to me, almost as odd as Washington having Michael Jordan's statue there, but why not? Other teams are celebrating him. Why not?
Okay, bit of fun. Before we get to the real trivia, one quick trivia bit here, just off of what you were saying there, Aman. So I looked at it. Yes, the Washington Wizards / at the time they were the Bullets. When is the last time the Washington franchise had a 50 or more win season? Can you name the year? Can you name the season?
So I'm not gonna guess.
You so, you saw what it was recently or something?
I think that it was always in a few years ago was hey, are they gonna get to 50 years?
50,
so if I do the math, I think I could get the exact year.
Okay, is it 74?
It is not.
Did I just do math bad? Is it 84?
No, you did math well, but I'm saying a few years ago I heard, are they going to get to 50? Whereas this
they have not hit 50 yet.
Oh, then I'm wrong on the year.
Yeah.
So what? 76?
Close.
77?
78, 79. The Washington Bullets had 54 wins and 28 losses, and that is the last time they had a 50-plus win.
Then we just need to bring Disco back.
That's crazy.
When Disco comes back, the Wiz are back.
Yeah, right? Okay, all right.
By the way, I thought for a second my thunder was going to get stolen because mine's actually Michael Jordan, the GM. So when he sells the Hornets, I want whoever the new the owner, whoever the new owner is, to build a statue of Michael Jordan, smoking a cigar at the computer.
Giant jeans on.
Yeah, giant jeans. Yeah, it's whoa, those are some oversized jeans. That must be the worst.
Did you just get into raving? What happened there?
Okay, well, let's finish with a little roster quiz here. I know I've done this a bunch before. I will play Andy. I don't know if you want to lead this. Basically, here's how it works.
Okay.
You pick easy, medium, or hard. You get 3 strikes, and the game is you will, depending on what level you pick, Andy will choose a roster. So a roster you think a lot of the players is easy, that sort of thing. But Andy will be the judge of that, and every time you name a player that's not on the team, that's an X.
So is it up to you to tell me what hard is? Because I might think a team is hard, and you might know everyone on it.
The Toronto Raptors are the most difficult.
Right?
That's
hard
so,
for me. Yeah. Is it an honor system or am I picking?
I think whoever's looking at Basketball Reference, you're picking. So we'll trust you on that.
Okay.
One.
All right. Okay.
I don't know. Well, Iman, you're the guest, so I think you should kick it off. So I'd say just you decide easy, medium, or hard, and Andy will pick a team.
I'll pick a team based on that. Okay.
Yeah.
Pick a team. Can I just throw it to you to pick a team, easy, medium, or hard? Because I feel like I'm gonna pick easy, and then you give me one. I'm that was hard.
Yeah. Okay. So you don't care. You just want me to pick a team, a random team.
Just pick a team.
Okay. You know what, Iman? I love random things. I don't know if you're aware of this, but we use a website here called randomizer.org.
Andy does.
Random.org to choose our draft orders all the time.
I love the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah, you love the Toronto Raptors. That's great. But what we're going to do is we are going to grab a random number from this from our
for our favorite website. How
many NBA teams? 30?
There are 30, yeah.
30 teams.
From our new sponsor, Kaseya Center.
Yeah, and we are going to get those numbers now, and we have chosen, way too easy, so we're going to go down to the
Wait, what was it? Was it the Raptors?
No, It was the Boston Celtics. So we're not going to do that.
I can do the Boston Celtics.
You want to do Celtics? Easy. All right, go do the Boston Celtics.
By the way, I should say for me,
yeah,
playing this game, it's way harder than you think, and I feel like if you get 6
the Raptors
players,
just played them. That's why I think it's easy.
But if you get 6 players from a team, you're doing pretty good. But beyond 6, it's starts to get really impressive because
I think
I feel like I could name 6 players on the Celtics.
Because it's Boston. Why don't I say I have to do 10?
Okay. Wow.
Okay. All right.
Let's do this.
Because it's Boston, I have to do 10.
That seems fair.
If I can't name 10 Boston Celtics, I need to. Yeah. Okay. So Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford, Kristaps Porzingis, Drew Holiday. How many is that? That's 5, right?
That's 5. Yeah.
Okay. Derek White, Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard.
Oh yeah, you're killing it.
It's 8.
Now my brain. Hold on. Oh, Shea Brissett, Delano Banton. My Canadians.
That's huge.
My Canadians.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
Luke
That's like
Cornett. Holy crap. Okay, I know there's some other white guys I'm not naming. Svi Mihailuk.
Oh wow, there's so many ex-Raptors.
There's so many ex-Raptors on this team. Svi Mihailuk. I know that there's someone else I'm forgetting. I said Peyton Pritchard. I said Luke Kennard. Luke Kennard. I said Luke
You're
Cornett.
at like 12 or 13.
You're at 11 now. I think.
I thought I named 12. I'm counting
Maybe 12. Maybe 12.
Luke Cornett is who I'm stuck on.
See, I told you too easy. I told you. That's why I said too easy.
Okay, I could probably go longer. I'm wasting time here.
Okay, let's give Freddie one now. Of equal difficulty.
I just want, while you do that, I'm going to look at the Boston Celtics to see if there's any like sort of jump outs. No, see, it gets pretty hard because who were you not naming? You weren't naming Lamar Stevens.
Oh, Lamar. You know what? I just made a joke about Lamar Stevens yesterday. Drew Patterson. I don't know who you are. I'm so sorry.
JD Davidson. Like,
so here's what we're gonna do.
2 ways are tough.
Here's how we're gonna do this. Here's how we're gonna do this. I'm gonna be the trivia master because I like doing this. And you guys know the rosters better than me anyway, so it'll be more fun this way. So we're gonna start in the Eastern Conference, and you just got Iman, you got the Celtics. We're right in here in the Eastern Conference. We're gonna do another Eastern Conference team for Freddie here. He's gonna have to name. He's gonna see if he can beat the number you just named. So you named.
There's no way. 12.
Can you name?
I'll tell you right now.
And I'm gonna try and get the same approximation of like. Obviously we're not picking the Raptors. The Raptors are out. But can you name at least 12? Let's say Philadelphia 76ers.
I couldn't name 12.
It's not gonna happen.
It's like the next maybe easiest team for the same division.
I know, because like if I was thinking you were gonna do
like who else?
Bucks
yeah,
Sixers,
it was between Bucks and Sixers.
I'm honestly gonna get tapped out way quicker than I want to.
Have you been staring at like Indiana Pacers rosters, looking at deals?
Pacers, I'd do better at. Okay, so here we go. Embiid,
okay,
Maxey.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, we take a breath. Paul Reed.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, this is terrible. Tobias Harris. Just gotta breathe this out. You know what I mean? Okay, it's easier when you think of the Raptors killers too. Lots of Raptors killers on that team. Oh wow, I got 4. This is horrible.
My brain has stopped working too.
Okay, there's like, I gotta hit the rotation, guys.
It's
Korkmaz, Furkan Korkmaz.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Okay. Yes.
Sorry, I was reaching for that.
You're going to Furkan, right? You're going to Furkan early. I'll say that. You're going early.
That sounded like I swore.
Furkan Korkmaz. Yeah.
I snapped and said Furkan Korkmaz. There is absolutely.
There's definitely one bigger name.
Kelly Oubre Jr.
Yep.
And there's
there's like one big-ish guy.
Who is handling the ball? Melton?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You're getting there.
Still there is someone dribbling a lot more that I'm not naming.
Yeah, there is. You're onto it.
Is PJ Tucker still on the team?
Wrong.
Oh.
And you know what? You said you got 3 strikes. In this version, you only get 1. I'm sorry. It's over.
Fair enough.
But that was good. That was actually really good.
Yeah.
Pap, I think you're thinking of Patrick Beverly.
Patrick Beverly is big.
Might have
There's
been
got to be a couple other big omissions there.
I mean, Mo Bamba, just like an easy. That's more of like a name. It's easier kind of to remember.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But past that, I think like, did you say Robert Covington?
No, but
no. Okay.
Yeah, could have.
Again, more of like a name that I always remember because I always think of like sounds like he's like a Triple H wrestler, like Robert Covington. Okay. All right. Let's go a step harder here now. Oh no, I pushed back too many times on my browser, and now I'm looking at Grady Dick G League stats.
Yeah. Oh no, you're in a dark place. He's averaging 15.
Not where you want to be.
It said he only played 3 games. I was like, this can't be right. Okay, all right. Let's go to the dreaded Western Conference, though, now.
Ooh.
And let's make things quite a bit harder, I think. Okay.
Yes.
We'll start with Amon here. And can you please name for me as many as you can members of the New Orleans Pelicans?
Ooh. Okay. Jonas Valanciunas. Zion
Gotta
Williamson,
have him. JV.
Brandon Ingram.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the third? Zion, Brandon Ingram. Okay, CJ McCollum. I don't remember. Am I 5 or did I count an extra one?
That's
I
4. You have 4 now.
Yeah. Okay, I have 4. So I said JV. I said Brandon Ingram. I said Zion Williamson. I said CJ McCollum. Who am I forgetting? That's an obvious one. That's part of their 3 guys when I think of the Pelicans. Okay, I'm not gonna remember. So Jose Alvarado.
Yeah.
Jose Alvarado was 5. Herb Jones, Trey Murphy the third, 6'7".
Yes. I'm just thinking, Freddie, how funny this would be if Imam was doing this and then I had to go. Like, it would be very funny.
I mean, Iman is very, very good at this.
Yes, she's very good at this.
Alan Shane Lewis did this one time, and then I crushed it so hard, and he was like, "I've just been playing so much 2K."
Yeah.
And I'm
It's
like,
always for
right,
me too.
Right.
When I'm into a sports video game, I can name the rosters.
I don't play any 2K. I just need another hobby. I guess. Why can't I think? Like, this is actually really frustrating to me.
I think you're at 7 right now.
I'm at 7. Yeah. What is happening? And there's someone I'm forgetting that's so obvious.
There's 2 that I can think of. One obvious, one not obvious at all.
This is very frustrating to me. My brain is just like barren right now. Okay, let me think. I said Herb Jones. I said Trey Murphy. I said Jose Alvarado. I said Brandon Ingram. Oh my gosh.
Did you say Trey Murphy before? I don't know if you did.
I said Trey Murphy. I did. I said Trey Murphy.
You did?
I think I said Trey Murphy the third at some point. I
don't know if you did.
Okay, Trey Murphy the third.
I feel like you did. Maybe I'm just forgetting it. But I honestly think you didn't say it. I think that might have been the one you're forgetting. I don't know.
Okay. So I'm forgetting some more people.
This is very good to me.
Should I just tap out? Because like I'm gonna frustrate myself even more.
I got 2 that I'm pretty sure of. Larry Nance Jr.
Oh my
Larry Nance,
gosh.
yeah.
You know
yeah,
what?
yeah.
Then,
I was literally thinking of Larry Nance Jr. because I was like, they made a Portland trade. Who am I missing? Obviously.
And I'm not a big know the draft guy, but when the Raptors have a pick, I'm usually looking for the guy that we might draft. And I decided that I wanted Jordan Hawkins. So he's in there. He just had a big game. He's having a really nice year. But
okay, Freddie, the door's open here. Okay.
Barely
for
he's
round
8,
2.
89?
I believe that was 8. Was that correct? Yeah, that was 8.
That's where I stopped at.
Okay, the door could be open here for 8. And I'm gonna ask you how many members of the current iteration of the Utah Jazz can you name?
I thought you were gonna say the Spurs, and I was gonna be like, I quit.
Okay. I don't want to go that hard, but yeah.
Okay, Utah Jazz, Lauri Markkanen. I quit. No, I'm just kidding. Oh God, who's the guy we? The Raptors fans are mad that we. Okay, I'll get there. Jordan Clarkson. The
Western Conference teams are the worst.
I know. I'm thinking of all these players who are no longer.
Yeah.
And the Raptors just played 2, so I should know. There's a lot of people good. Was there a rookie going off on us?
Do a Monge trick. Think Canadians.
Think Canadians.
Think about your Canadians.
Kelly Olynyk.
There you go.
Is there multiple Canadians on that team? I got Kelly. Bit of a hint though, but thank you.
Not really a hint. Just some Sort
No,
of.
there's all you can think of is this isn't his name, so this doesn't count. But I'm stuck between two like names that are not this guy's name,
Okay.
which is Walker Texas Ranger
Yeah.
and Phil Kessel.
Yes,
And-
you
and I
are.
know-
Yes.
That's a point. I think that's a point.
That's gonna be. We're gonna count that Walker Kessler Ranger.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Because I was like, somewhere in there is that.
And you
guy.
were like the Raptor fans. I was like, oh, Walker Kessler, getting
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I was inching there.
That's 4.
Yeah, this is bad. And then I have like a.
There's another like Toronto Maple Leaf connection in one of the names here too, which is very interesting.
I'm worried
in
about
the
getting
last
this,
names.
I'm worried about getting this wrong, but I want to say, oh, wait, just based on your clue, Taylor Horton Tucker.
Yeah, yeah, Taylor Horton Tucker. Yeah, dude.
And then the other guy where I'm like, is he there? I don't know. Or if this is like, I've just lost track of where he is, but Rudy Gay?
No.
Where is Rudy Gay?
There is
Yeah.
Rudy Gay. That's
We're all worried about him now.
we all buy the books in that series, right?
Why can't I think it's not?
Where's Rudy Gay?
It's not Darius Garland. Who's the other?
No, he's
cat?
there.
It is him.
Yeah. No, Colin Sexton. Darius
Colin
Garland is in
Sexton.
cast. Duh.
Exactly.
Sorry,
Yeah,
my
Colin
brain.
Sexton.
It's
Sorry, yeah,
Colin
Sexton.
Sexton. Yeah.
And then who else? There's got to be a couple. We just played them. Who was it going off on us? There's got to be a couple jazz.
Were you
guys.
trying to think of Taylor or Bryce Sensabaugh?
Certainly not.
Omer Yurtseven?
Definitely not.
Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That's a cool name. John Collins.
Oh, I should have got that. Okay, here I am. Keontae
Simone
George.
Fontecchio.
Whoa, some cool names.
I'm telling you, the Jazz has some really like radical names.
Chris Dunn wouldn't have got.
Yeah, it's a tough one. This is a tough one. The Utah Jazz. Maybe
Ochai Agbaji, yeah.
Iman, if I'd given you the Spurs, how many do you think you would be able to get? You don't have to name it right now, but
I
like
can
what
do
would
it.
what would you
I
guess?
can try. You want me
You
to
could do
try?
pretty good.
Yeah,
Let's do
we'll end on this.
We'll
Extremely
end on this.
impressive
Yeah.
in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah.
Victor Wembanyama. Tap out. No, I'm kidding. Jeremy Sohan.
Yeah.
Kelton Johnson. Devin Vassell.
This
Zach
is already.
Collins.
Oh, this is
You're
already
like
great.
naming them too fast. I can't even find like
Oh,
there's
sorry,
only
sorry.
like no, keep going. This is like
This
what,
is
like
already
15
great.
guys on the roster, and I'm just like, she's naming them all. I can't find them.
Okay, so Zach Collins, I said, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan, which I said Sohan initially, like I just made him fancier, and Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah.
Oh, now we're getting rough. Can
I have one.
more? Yeah, who am I forgetting?
Dougie
10 people.
McBuckets.
Doug McDermott.
McDermott.
Yeah.
Doug McDermott, yeah.
And is that where Rudy Gay is hiding? I demand
No,
an
it
answer.
is not, no.
it's still not.
Rudy Gay, oh no, okay. I honestly have watched 2 Spurs games. One of them was against the Raptors, which was a million years ago. And one of them just because I wanted to check in on Victor. So to me, I think 6 is where I tap out. I don't know that I can get more.
Honestly,
Like,
that's
if
impressive.
I spent some more time, but I don't know.
If that's what you can get on the one of the last place teams, that's pretty impressive. And Rudy Gay, by the way, not in the league currently.
Oh,
So.
yeah.
But I just
That
looked
makes sense.
last played for the Utah Jazz.
Last
so-
played for the
Last
Jazz.
played Jazz,
That's
yeah.
right.
Wow.
Yeah. So pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Very good, guys. Very good. Very good stuff.
Yeah. So if just as we wrap up here, if you're listening to this in the morning, I hope we all have some closure on Pascal Siakam, but I'm not sure we ever will. Yeah, this
Has Woj
was
said anything, or is it just Shams with the reporting?
Whoa, that's also making this weird. And there have been a couple Shams, like pure egg on face.
Yeah. Blowing
Moments.
it big
Is
time,
that the
yeah.
expression? It's egg on head. Is it egg on face?
No, egg on my face. Yeah.
Yeah. There's been a couple of those, and this would be a big one.
Yeah, this
So
feels too big to be that, Chimp.
yeah,
But yeah,
I
you're
agree.
right.
Yeah.
You're
I agree.
right.
This is way too big.
He is the one who tweeted Dame finalized to Toronto, and
Yeah.
everyone was like, "What?" And then it was like, delete the tweet. Pretend no one saw that. He's a buck.
Oh, that I didn't realize. Yeah, that was also
That
a
was him,
Toronto
yeah.
thing. So that would be like a double whammy, like you don't know shit about Toronto moment.
Great game
but-
show, by the way.
Yeah, you don't know. It's just
You don't
every
know shit about
American, and
Toronto.
they're all like,
Yeah.
"We agree, and we don't care."
Yeah,
Um,
no.
I'm gonna do this now. I'm gonna get people to just name teams, and I'm gonna try to name as many people off the roster because I'm like kind of beating myself up over the Pelicans.
It's
You did very well on.
Yeah, you
by the
did well.
way.
It's a party trick.
Yeah.
But I think you got to start
no,
busting
no
that
one
out.
is. No, it is. It's not.
The next level is doing it for.
You know
People
what,
are
you're
just gonna walk away from me at
Yeah,
a point.
I'll walk that back. If it's a party trick, people are like, "This party sucks."
I'm in for this party. I want to be at a party where we're just naming basketball players on teams. The next level is picking specific years and then just going, okay, 2014 Detroit Pistons, go. It's like, whoa,
Okay.
God,
Okay,
yeah.
you're talking me into this. Maybe a charcuterie board. No worries.
Yeah, okay, see what I'm talking about? Yeah. We got Blue Chips on the TV over here if anyone wants to watch that Shaq movie.
That one of the Shaq movies.
Blue Chips is good.
Yeah, it's great.
Those
All
are
right.
the-
Okay, we'll wrap it up there. Iman, we did a little bit of plugging before, but yeah, what do you want to let people know about? Where can they check you out?
Pros and claws. I want to have some thoughts out about what's going on right now with the Toronto Raptors. Also, if you have not checked out the Tim Donaghy episode on Dishes and Dimes,
Yeah, get
do
in there.
check that out. I said on that pod that it's going to be a series where we dig into this because you can't just have a convicted felon on your podcast and be like, "Yep, his word, that is the truth," and we're running with that story. So we're also going to bring in some people who have done much better investigations on the entire thing than either myself or Sandy. And yeah, so that'll be on Dishes and Dimes.
Awesome. That's so cool. Yeah, make sure to check out Iman's work everywhere, and we really appreciate you doing the pod. You're awesome. And make sure you subscribe, everybody, to Raptors Republic, and follow us on YouTube, like, review, all that good stuff. And I think that about does it for this emotional but fun week.
That's right. All right.
Yeah.
See everyone
All right.
next time. Bye.
Peace, everybody.